I was a staff nurse on this family unit,
Hmm.
and I just always felt that I had more to offer than being a staff nurse. So
Hmm.
I left the VA and I went in the civilian community and I became director for a home health agency called Nurse Finders.
Okay.
And so I did that for a while and I wasn't really happy with that. And so at that time, as I was saying, Ruby Laster, who was my friend and my sorority sister, she told me that they had a head nurse position available at the VA and that I should apply for it. And I did. And so I became nurse manager at the VA on a 40-bed substance abuse ward.
Wow.
And it stayed full all the time. It was such a challenging experience, but it was very rewarding because we did have some of the veterans who got it. A
Yeah.
few of them did not get it, and once you had to be out for 45 days before you could come back. And some of them, it was like a wait for the 45 days and they would come back. And but there are some that remain sober, and that was the rewarding part of it.
Yes.
So um, it it was at that time that I became interested in advocating for women veterans because in any given day we would have 2 to 3 women veterans with 37 men or 36 men, and you know that must have been a challenge.
Yeah.
Quite most of them had suffered from sexual trauma, so to be on a unit with these men and having to deal with that on a daily basis, it was devastating for some of them. So I found that I would work with them on a one-to-one, and I just became very involved in advocating for women veterans at that time.
Hmm. And that's a good thing. I don't know if how many of you in the audience know that, but this woman has made a real mark, I believe, as it relates to women veterans and raising awareness, really raising awareness of what that plight is really like. Because sometimes if you don't have that advocacy voice out there, people don't know. It can very easily go unchecked. So you mentioned now you have maybe 2 or 3 women that would come in, and I can recall in the VA that when I don't know when it was years when I worked in the VA before I even saw a female that's a female. You just never saw one at all. So you can see if you look at this trajectory now, those of you who are in the audience here now who now look at it and you'll see women sort of coming in and going out. I think this is history that we're hearing now about sort of how this really sort of progressed through. So go on, Patricia, and tell us, bring us on home with that a little bit more here.
Okay. So during that time, I did that for I think 3 years, and then there was a lady who worked there named Dr. Rosalie Jackson. They thought we were relatives because her last name was Jackson, but Dr. Rosalie Jackson was a strong advocate for the women's veteran. In fact, she testified before Congress and everything to get some of the things that we had for the women's veteran. And she encouraged me to, when they had a position for a full-time women's veteran coordinator, she encouraged me to apply for it.
Hmm.
And I did. And I think there were like 20 applicants, and I got the job. So I was so pleased working as the women's veteran coordinator. When I started out, I was so excited, and then it came to the place that I would have to listen to the women tell the stories of what happened when they were in the military. And I think one of the most devastating stories that I heard was when one of the veterans was telling me about she was gang raped, while she was in the military. And I had to sit there and listen to this. I could not cry. I had to hold my composure while they literally would bare their souls and tell the experiences of the things that happened when they were in the military. And even today, I think about how things have not really changed that much.
Mhm.
We are still facing this trauma, this war, the war against the people that are supposed to be our friends,
Mhm.
who are our enemies, these men who treat us like we are nobody, like a piece of meat, and just throw us away, use us and throw us away. And then if you say anything, then that's the end of your career. It's just not enough is being done.
Mhm. 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 Yes. And I think that's part of why we are so in need of more voices to speak out and advocates, because sometimes the people who are actually going through the trauma, as you say, really can't advocate for themselves. People think, well, why don't they say something? Why don't they do something? It's not quite that simple. And so they really do need these voices that are out there. So how long were you with the women's program there at the VA as a coordinator of that?
For 10 years.
Oh,
Um,
that's very, very,
yeah,
yeah.
it was quite an experience, and I was doing very well, and we had a great program. And then we got a new program manager for they kept putting me under different disciplines. First, I
Mhm.
was under the chief of staff. Then I was under the the surgical unit. Then I
Mhm.
was under someone else, about four different areas. So then when she came, they put me under her, and it was like downhill from there. For
Mhm.
some reason, things just did not click, and it was just like, why are you doing all these things for the women? Why should they be in a different? Why are you spoiling them? Uh, you don't need this and you don't need that. And I could not, but I would not allow this to stop me from what I needed to do. And
Mhm.
because when I first started the program, the women's veteran program, they did not even have sanitary napkins in the canteen for the
Mhm.
women's veteran. The
Mhm.
women had to change for their mammogram in a little closet out in the hallway that
Mhm.
had one of those rubber shower curtains around it to protect them. Um, and before I left, they had a state of the art mammogram unit. They had a state of the art women dedicated women's clinic
Mhm.
and many other resources for the women's veteran. So I would not allow this person who was coming in to remove all the good that had been done for the women's veteran.
Mhm.
And I still advocate for women's veteran as much as I did then.
Yes, yes, I'm well aware of that. Yes, indeed. So let me ask you, related to that, because I know that even after you had retired and had actually left the VA, you have made maybe even a bigger impact, I believe, out in the community. I witnessed some of that myself, and I want to just have you just sort of tell us just a little bit about that impact, because it's really been very good.
But I think that one of the things that has happened as being out of the VA is that I am allowed the freedom of speech that I did not have at the VA. So I think that that has really prompted most of the successes that I've made. I've testified before Congress, as you stated. I testified before the Little Hoover committee for women's veterans and several other areas. So had I been at the VA, I would not have been allowed to say these things that I have said in the community. Um, I'm also a commissioner with the county, and so I'm not allowed to expound on that. But we do. I'm a commissioner for the military and veterans affairs. So we are allowed to assist veterans in their problems, their issues that they may be having.
Mhm. Mhm. This is really, I think, not only enlightening to those of you in our audience, because some of you may not even be aware, of some of the things that Colonel Jackson Kelley is talking about right now. And I think this sort of opens a whole different a level of thought, because those of you who are out there who are not veterans, you can be a voice as well. And sometimes to be that voice, you really have to have a deeper understanding of what that it's like. So with that in mind, let me move you on ahead a little bit to your work, particularly with the American Legion, because I know you have been so active with that segment. And so let's just sort of go over with the American Legion here. And can I get you to lean back just a little bit there? That's good. Yeah, so we can see all of you. There you go. Okay.
Well, the American Legion, I've served in just about all of the capacities except department commander. I have. I was once the department vice commander representing women legionnaires, and at that time we made a real significant impact in the women's veteran community. I have been able to serve on a national level, department level, and state level, whatever, with the American Legion. I'm also a national legislative commissioner. So I'm very aware of the different bills that come in for the veterans. So even though I advocate for women's veterans more readily, by right, because I know what it's like to be a woman veteran. I do advocate for all veterans, and the legislative agenda has been really one of the focal point in my career.
Excellent. My goodness. And then let me see. Let me just see. As I recall, you are also now the national president of the National Association of Black Military Women. Tell us a little bit about that organization, about its mission, and how you got involved in it as well.
The National Association of Black Military Women was created and was organized in 1976, and it was organized by 21 women who really saw the need for the stories of black women to be known, and that was not being done. So they knew that you needed an organization of your own to do this. So it started out as a social organization, and over the years, it has become a professional organization, with the bylaws and the rules that other organizations have. We have 4 chapters now, one in Atlanta, one in Los Angeles, and 2 in New York. We are currently trying to, well, we almost finished with the one in Washington, D.C. and Virginia area. And we got a call today from Kansas City. They want to start a chapter, and one from one other place. So we got from 2 other states that we received information. The National Association of Black Military Women, we meet every 2 years, and at that time is when we elect the officers and we do our business. But we have meetings in between that time frame where we we do various things. We are involved with legislative. We're involved with women issues. We're involved primarily with women issues and racial issues.
So as we were saying here, may I call you Patricia? So as we go into the
Yes,
rest of the,
please, please do.
all right, let me call you Patricia then, from this point forward. Um, as it relates to the National Association of Black Military Women, because I know that there are probably many women veterans, many supporters of Black women, not just veterans. I believe it's veterans. Anybody has anything, you can explain it better than me. So tell me, who can be a member of the National Association of Black Military Women?
Any veteran, active duty, can be a member, any honorably discharged veteran or active duty member can be a member of the National Association of Black Military Women. But you can also be an associate member. You don't have to be a military person, or you can be a male military person who wants to be a member. For example, many of you know Bobby McDonald.
Yeah.
Uh, he joined, and I think he was one of our most excited male members that we have.
Yeah.
He is forever talking about the National Association of Black Military Women. So we are so proud to have people like that who are willing to tell the story.
Yes, yes.